In Darkenbloom, the locals know all about each other, and the few tiny details that they don't know, that they can neither fabricate nor simply omit, these are not unimportant. These loom largest of all. That which is not common knowledge holds power like a curse. The others, the incomers and those who have married in, don't know much. They know that the castle burned down, that the Count's descendants now live in various far-off countries, but usually return to celebrate weddings and christenings, when the whole town joins in the festivities. The children gather flowers from the cottage gardens and wreathe garlands. The old women dig out their 100-year-old traditional costumes, and everyone stands the length of Herrengasse and waves. The foreign brides notice, with tight little smiles, that despite the Republican takeover all those years ago, one can still rely on one's subjects here, on high days and holidays at least. It's been a long time, though, since any counts were buried here. Their crypt can be visited, but it is no longer receiving occupants. It wasn't until 20 years after the war that the Comital family could even be lured back to Darkenbloom, on the advice that the crypt was no longer watertight. Immediately after the war, by contrast, someone, no one knows who, had, with astonishing diplomatic finesse, kept them away. The news that was conveyed to them about the state of the burnt-out ruin was greatly exaggerated. "Demolished! Alas, the castle must be completely demolished!" This was the assessment presented to them, with much wailing and gnashing of teeth. And the recently widowed Countess in exile believed her former stewards and tenants and secretaries and maids, or whoever was behind the story, or whoever passed on things they knew from hearsay, or things they had been forced to say themselves. Perhaps the Countess wanted to believe them. She was too lazy or too cowardly to come and see for herself, too low on funds to pay for a surveyor's report. And so the castle was pulled down, and a huge piece of prime real estate became available in a previously inaccessible central location. Someone must have profited back then, because someone always does. Since then, the center of Darkenbloom has been architecturally and atmospherically divided. The centuries-old rustic half, with its winding streets and whitewashed houses with their blue or green shutters, and the other half, hideously functional, all steel and silicone, practical, easily wiped clean, just as people would have liked to be themselves back then, in the period of Reconstruction. And so, 20 years later, the Countess's affable eldest son returned for a flying visit, a man who could be described as many things, but never sentimental.